Welcome, everybody. It's Dr. Cassie. We're getting started here with the Max Keto Webinar. So if you are watching, welcome. I'll give everybody a couple minutes to get on. It's going to be just me today talking about the keto diet. If you are on and you want to say hello, that would be great. I can't see who's on, but I can see people that are watching. But if you want to say hi, please say hi so I know that you're here. I'm also believing that people are watching from other parts of the world and maybe not just Nashville. So if you're watching from somewhere else in the world, just let me know where you're watching from. That would be great. Hi, everybody. If you just joined, I'm going to get started here in a couple minutes. I'm going to let some people get joined in. We're talking about keto today, so if you're wondering what the webinar is about, if you didn't already know, we're going to talk about the ketogenic diet. I'm super excited about this one, the ins and outs. Hi, Melissa. Good to see you, girl. Love it. I'm going to give everybody a couple more minutes to get on, get situated. You got a notebook, it's a good idea. I'm a super big note taker when it comes to stuff, and then I can go back. The good news about this is it's recorded, so you can watch it as many times as you want to on our YouTube page. We have all of our past webinars and videos on there. You can find it on Facebook too, in the column where it says videos. All of our past webinars are on there. So we've done on intermittent fasting. I've done plant-based, and more. I don't even remember all of them that we've done, but we've done quite a few. I'm going to give everybody one more minute and then we'll get started. If you're watching and you haven't said hi, you can say hi and let me know who you are, where you're from, maybe what you want to learn today and about. That would be great. One more minute. Okay, 5:32. Let's get started. So we're talking about the ketogenic diet today, if you didn't know that already. But really what we're going to talk about is the right way to actually do keto, because there's definitely a right way and there's definitely a wrong way. And so I want to make sure that you're doing it in a healthy way that's supporting your body with good healthy fats, with the proper ratios that you need to make sure that's inside of your body, and then talking about a few supplements too that you can take that will help boost up your keto journey. So a little bit about who we are. Me in the middle right there. My hair is actually a little bit longer. It's not purple right now, but this is our team. We did add somebody new, Sylvia. And if you haven't been in the office yet, she'll be here. She started part-time Mondays and Wednesday evenings. I actually had originally drawn like a face inside of there, and Dr. Michael was like, no, it was awful. It was just like a circle with eyeballs and a mouth, and I was going to call her Sylvia, but you guys will also see Sylvia in the office. You know that we've been growing, and it's been such a blessing, and we have been working a lot with the Spanish-speaking community, and so she's able to help. She's bilingual and being able to help people that way, but she can also help you too as we go through. So she starts part-time, so you'll be able to see her, but our whole purpose of why we exist is to really see people get well and stay well. And I was talking to the team earlier, and we were just talking about how when we get prepared for these webinars and like the research that we do and all of the reading, you just really are solidified in the fact of like, if we just really lived with health in mind and took care of the food that we put in our bodies and took care of our nervous systems and exercised and thought well and got rid of toxins inside of our body, we really would get well and we would stay well if that was part of our lifestyle. And so talking about the ketogenic diet today is no exception. Like if we even just did 50% of what I'm going to teach you today, your body's only going to get well. And then if we just continue to make steps towards being healthy, your body will stay healthy. That's how it was designed. Like God created it that way. And so as we start to create lifestyle changes, and I know that it's been tough, like with everything that's happened in this world, and you might have gained 15 pounds, like we know freshman 15, but there's also people saying like quarantine 15. And if you have gotten to that point, and this is just like a saving grace of like getting yourself back on track, I commend you, first of all, for being on it, like on this webinar. Sometimes just taking that first step is all that you need to get your body going. But you could also be watching that you do keto, or you have in the past, you had great results, and so you just need something else, or you're already doing it, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of a tidbits of things that you can do that you might just need to change your path a little bit when it comes to keto. Some of you have no idea what I'm talking about, and you're just learning about it, or you've heard about people going keto and you just want to know what that's about. And I don't think that the ketogenic diet is for everyone. If it was, there would be a lot more people perhaps that have had weight loss goals, or their brains are functioning better. I don't think it's for everybody. And so as we go through, if you're like, oh, I don't think that's for me, it might not be. And that's where I would encourage you to do something different, like plant-based or paleo or something like that. Don't think that this is the end-all be-all for you, okay? Now, some of you also have tried it and it didn't work for you, and you could have been doing it the wrong way. And so perhaps you need to start it now, a path of doing it the correct way. So wherever you're at, I believe that this webinar and workshop, you will leave with absolutely something. So let's start here. If you have any questions or comments as we go through, please just put them in the comments. I can see them. Nikki is with out in the office today, so it's me. I have set aside a time at the end to go through all of those, and I'll remind you periodically as we go through to put them in there. Now, being on a webinar, it's totally different, especially for me. I love responses. I love feedback. And so you don't quite get that when you're just staring at a circle on a computer. So I want to honor you first and foremost for being on here. So any questions or comments, even if it's like a, hey, good job, or amen, or I agree, or you have questions, or you want me to elaborate on something, put that in the comments, and your name will be entered in to win a $50 gift card to Whole Foods. So we want to honor that, and we want to be able to give you a gift that will help you through your nutrition journey. And so I can send that to you virtually. I can do it right online, send it directly to you. We don't have to get a card and all of that stuff and mail it. I can do that too, however that works. But thankfully, we have where I can do that virtually. I can send it right to your email and you'll get that. But any questions or comments, first of all, I will answer them at the very end, but then you'll also be entered in to win $50 gift card to Whole Foods, okay? So let me get my notes set here. Here we go. Okay, so today, really what it's about is, like, you've most likely heard of someone going keto, or you've heard of the ketogenic diet or the keto diet. It's an excellent way to create health inside of your body. It's a great way to boost your immune system. It's a great way to boost weight loss in your body. It's a great way to help your brain function and think sharper and think clearer. But you're going to have some questions. And I know that's why there's people on here today, is like some of the questions to verify. And that's what I'm going to do today, is through these next slides, really unpack what keto really does mean. So the first thing, though, is I want to talk about is how it really does work. So I want you to imagine your body as a car. And your body's gasoline to work is called glucose. And glucose, AKA, is sugar. So your body breaks down food into glucose, and then it is used for gasoline or for energy for your body. It's what keeps it fueled. But what happens is that your body, if it doesn't have enough glucose that's being fed, it will you don't have any gasoline. Like, your car doesn't work, nothing functions at all completely. Now, our bodies are very good at, if you don't have glucose, it uses other fuel. Now, in your actual car, if you run out of gasoline, like, you just run out of gasoline and your car stops working. Well, our bodies don't do that thankfully. Okay. So what happens inside of your body is you have a backup fuel. And so your backup fuel is called ketones. Now, ketones are made in your liver, and your body makes them through fats that you eat, but also the fat that's on your body. So the liver metabolizes that fat and then turns it into ketones. And when your body starts to do that for fuel, that is known as ketosis. And so on a keto diet, you're restricting carbohydrates and proteins. So then that way you're going to now consume a diet high in fat. So then your body won't have as much glucose for fuel. Because here's the issue. In the standard American diet, we're eating way too much sugar. We're eating way too many glucose molecules and turning into glucose. We're eating way too many carbs that are turning into the wrong fuel. We really want our bodies to use fat for fuel. And so when your body utilizes this backup fuel, now you're converting the fat that you eat and then the body fat on your body into ketones. So now you're burning fat for fuel. You really want to become a fat burner. You don't want to just become a sugar burner, because then nothing of the extra fat on your body burns and creates fuel. Now, this process burns fat, not muscle. Sometimes people can get confused by that, but I'll go through ratios. They're like, well, what's going to happen to my muscle? If I'm eating a bunch of fat, I'm not eating that protein, so I'm going to starve my body, and then my muscle is all going to go away. That is not true. You're burning fat for fuel, not your muscle. Now, your body's always producing these ketones, but when you're actually doing it yourself, you're replacing that glucose with fat. And that's what your body's primary source of energy needs to come from fat, so that your body can turn into and utilize ketosis. Okay. So here's the ratios, and you may have heard this before, of you got to eat this much and this much and this much. And that is very true. We got to have the proper ratios of getting your body into ketosis. So ketogenic itself is defined as a low carb, moderate protein, and a high fat diet. And it's designed to reduce all of your net carbs down to around 5% of your total nutrient intake, and then replacing that, what you normally would eat carbs for, you're replacing that with more healthy fats. So the recommended percentages that you see here are fat needs to be between 60 and 75% of your diet in the entire day, and then 20 to 30% of protein, and then for the entire day, eating about 5% net carbs. Eating that amount of protein is what saves your muscles. And I'll tell you from my own personal experience is that was the hardest part. I could eat all the fat, I could get rid of all of the carbs, but my protein, I was just struggle busting with it. And so I'm going to give you some ideas of how you can make sure that you're monitoring and watching and getting more of that inside of your diet. Now, some carbs are higher in the glycemic index. So that means that they have more sugars in them. They break down into more glucose when you eat them. And when that happens, it causes your blood sugar to increase really quickly. And so when you're following the ketogenic diet, you have to understand what that word net carbs mean. And so there is a formula. And this can be a little bit confusing, but I want you to, I'm going to try and break it down and be as easy as possible. And it's kind of a practice of you have to read labels, okay? And so calculating net carbs, what you would do is that anything that you ate that has a label on it, you would go into the upper corner and you would see, it'll say total carb. And so on this bar right here, it's the max keto bar, this way. And what I have is that when we look at it, because this is keto, so it should be low carb. It says it right on here. It says 2 net carbs. And the total carbs on it are 24 grams. That is a lot of carbs inside of there. But what calculating net carbs means is that this carb is different than 24 grams of a piece of bread. that there are ingredients inside of here that are not higher on the glycemic index, are actually lower. So we can now do a calculation, and you take 24 of the total carbohydrates, you subtract the amount of fiber on it, and you subtract any sugar alcohols, erythritol, xylitol, and I will also put in there like maltitol. So anything really ending in OL is a sugar alcohol that could be on this or other forms of sugar alcohols. This is where it gets confusing, because even on this bar, and Melissa, I know you're watching, and like it gets really confusing, and they still haven't quite undid all of this. They're supposed to rechange this label, because there's other things in here that you get rid of as well, like allulose and inulin and things like that. So this is where it can get a little bit confusing when it comes to that. The best thing I can tell you to do is that buy less of things that have labels on them, because then you can know exactly how many carbs are in there by putting it and placing it into one of the apps that I'm going to talk about in just a second. But the example that you see right there, let's say a snack bar is 20 total carbohydrates, but on it, it also shows that it says 5 grams of fiber and 2 grams of sugar alcohols. That means the bar contains 13 net carbs. So then you don't add 20 to your carb total, you add 13. And so with the ketogenic diet, like what does 5% mean? 5% is about 20 to 50 net carbs per day. So if you work better in like that and not percentages, 20 to 50 net carbs per day. So when you add this bar together, it comes out to a total of 2 net carbs, because there was 24 grams, there was 6 grams of fiber, there was 4 grams of erythritol, 5 glycerin, 7 allulose. So there's 12 on here that aren't actually in the label. So we emailed the company and we're like, this doesn't make any sense and it doesn't go together. So you're gonna have to tell us like how this all goes. But they explained it all to us and said that there's only 2 net carbs in here. So if you have questions on that, like you gotta email the company, understand a little bit more about what that looks like. But you can see how it can get very confusing. So what helps us, like when we are calculating all of this, there's 2 apps. The thing about keto is that you really do have to monitor and watch. Like if you really have goals that you want to have weight loss, like you want to make sure that you're getting the proper ratios and seeing how you feel with the different ratios of whether you do better with 60% or 75% of high fats, or if you work better, like you can change the ratios of it and see how your body responds. But one of the ones that I do love is called the Carb Manager app, and you can get it right on your phone. And you see that pie chart that's there. That helps already tell you like the percentage and ratios. You get to put it in. Like if you have weight loss, if you have goals like that, it'll automatically calculate it. So then it's put inside of there. And then what you do is you now start to track everything. So for breakfast, you can see right there, they had coffee, bacon, and eggs. And so then it automatically calculates what the percentage of protein in it, what the percentage of fat is, and what the carbs are. And then you can see at the top next to that pie chart, it'll show you like how far you're out and like how much more fat you need to eat for the day. So when you plug that in, you can see on this person, like they actually got 83 grams out of 104 grams of protein that they need, which is pretty good. Mine was always like 20 and I needed to get 80 and I could barely do it in the day. And I had to be very conscious of it. But I don't want to not have enough protein because then I start losing muscle. And so then you see the net carbs, and then you can also see the fat ratio that's inside of there. And it also calculates other things too. I also found another one. It's called Senza app. And I really like it. It's really good for beginners. Like if you are brand new starting all of this, it is a great one to start with. I like it. I think I just like how it looks too, but they walk you through everything. I just put my stuff in and it's like, how much do you weigh? What are your goals? What does that look like? And then helps you journal through. Another thing that I really like about this one is that it asks you what time you ate at so that it can help even with some of that. Like I'm going to talk about intermittent fasting in just at the very end of this, but sometimes people do intermittent fasting, and I did an intermittent fasting webinar last month, and I talked about like fat fasting that works really good with ketogenic diets. And so that helps you through that. So either one of those I would start with as you're starting to plug things in so that you can monitor and journal out. Journaling out, you're going to have to look up things, and it does it automatically for you in these apps. Okay. Reminder, if you're just joining us, if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the side. I have a separate time, so if I haven't answered any of your questions yet, I'm not ignoring you. I just have to put it at a time at the very end, and it's just me, so Nikki's not able to help me. But if you're just joining us, I'm going to give away a $50 gift card to Whole Foods after this if you're watching real and live. But if you have any questions or comments, that's how you're going to get entered into win that gift card. I'll send it right into your email. So then that way you have it. It can be a simple woohoo or a question, or I can elaborate on anything. You just put it in the comments and we'll get to it towards the end. Okay, so I talked kind of about what ketogenic is, what it means, the ratios and all that stuff, but like what are the actual health benefits? Most people think of it this way. Like you think of keto and weight loss, and that is very true. It's one of the most well-known benefits of the ketogenic diet. But now that you really understand how ketogenic diet works, like not having so much glucose in your body and that your body's able to burn fat, of course, one of the outcomes of the ketogenic diet is going to be weight loss. And for most people, they are successful. If you have not been successful in the past, a couple of reasons could be the ratios, that you have to kind of move them a little bit and see what works the best for you. Or two, you could have been doing unhealthy fats and your body doesn't do well with that. And so some of those things need to change, and then you can watch how your body does. Or honestly, it doesn't work for you and do something else. Because I don't think it works for everybody. I don't think it's sometimes something that you need to do for your whole life. I think it's good to start at like 30, 60, 90 days and then change some things up and do some things different, see how your body does, get back on it. I love it for like a cleanse here and there, like after all of this in quarantine, like it's good to get on keto for a little bit and then see how your body does from there. But making sure that your body enters that state of ketosis. And so once you get into that state of ketosis, now your body can use that fat for fuel. And it takes some time for people. And I'll talk about a couple ways that you can boost that and get it started. Another thing that the keto body, I mean, maybe, but the keto diet does is it helps with brain function. So a little bit of a backstory, some of you might know because we've talked about keto before, is that the ketogenic diet didn't come up because of people losing weight. It actually was found based off of epilepsy. And what they were seeing is that kids that had epilepsy back in the day, like before there was even epilepsy medications, they changed some of their food and created a more high-fat diet. And they found when they were in a high-fat diet, their body was in this state of fasting. It was utilizing what it had for fuel. And they saw epilepsy symptoms decrease in children. But then medication came along and it became kind of like a null and void type of a thing, and most people now go towards the medication instead of changing the lifestyle of a child with epilepsy or an adult with epilepsy by changing the foods that they're eating, because unfortunately it's a lot easier to take a medication than it is to change the foods that you're eating. We know that even in real life, not even just for epilepsy. We understand that, and so little changes make all the difference in the world. But weight loss is one of them, but one of the big things is brain function. And what they found is that the body uses ketones for energy, but they're also showing that ketones can supply up to 70% of your brain's energy as well. And so the remaining energy can be supplied through small amounts of glucose here and there. Like we need some of that glucose, like we need a little bit of sugar, we need a little bit of carbs in order for our body to utilize that fuel. But 70% of our brain's energy comes from ketones. And so our bodies will be able to think clearer, like you'll be able to think sharper. And they found even like when you look at like grams of fat, protein, and carbs, you actually get more grams of energy when you're eating fat than you do with anything else. It's 10. And then sugars are like 1 or 2. Like you don't get a lot. You get more energy from fat than you do in ketones, especially. The other part of it is it does decrease inflammation. And so when your brain's not inflamed all the time from having so much sugar, or your body just in general, it uses more energy towards thinking and all of that instead of trying to heal your body from damage from the food that we're eating. And now the other part of it is that blood sugar is very much affected by eating keto. And you can imagine why, because we're not eating as much glucose. We're not eating carbs that are turning into glucose. And so there's less fluctuations in our blood sugar and our insulin levels when we are very balanced with eating fat for fuel. And they've done some research and they've shown that eating in a ketogenic way has linked to improvements in blood sugar and A1C. And so that will help reduce the amount of insulin. So diabetics, like this is a great place to start. So then you can get your body back balanced and it doesn't need as much insulin, even compared to other diets. They are showing that keto helps blood sugar the most because it's not starving your body of that. It's replacing the fuel from your gasoline to the backup fuel by having the fat there for your body. Pretty cool stuff. Like it's not just about weight loss. Like it helps create health inside of your body. Reminder again, I realize that you have to do this. You can't just do it at the beginning because then people that join later miss it. Questions or comments, ask me, put them in the comments. I'm giving away a $50 gift card to Whole Foods. Right when we're done with this, I'll send it right to your email. So then you have it and you can buy some good, healthy fats and foods from it, even if it's just like an amen, great. So let's talk about this. I have been alluding to it, that you can have healthy keto and very much unhealthy keto. And so a lot of times we think that like if you just look at keto stuff, it's just like meat and cheese. So you've probably seen people do it. They don't care about the quality of their food at all. They're just like, oh, this is keto, so I can eat it. And it's a big hunk of cheese and then meat, and that's all that they eat. And I don't recommend that, not even close. Your body can't handle that. And so I want you to understand that in the importance of the quality of the food that you're going to eat, it goes a long way. And so what keto should absolutely not be is processed foods like bacon or even hot dogs and sausages. Like I don't want that to make up the bulk. Now, I know life happens and you just need to get like a chicken sausage and you need to eat it, and that's keto. Like every now and then during this is totally fine, but like bacon usually comes from an unhealthy source. Like it's fed grains and eats a bunch of garbage. And so if that's the quality of the meat that we're eating, then that's what our bodies are becoming. Even if you lose weight, that doesn't mean the quality of what it is going to be healthy for your body. There are a lot of sick, skinny people out there. And I'm not just trying to get weight off of your body while you're still sick on the inside, and unhealthy fats are running rampant through your entire body. We want to not only lose weight, but be healthy on the inside. So then it's not just this short-term thing, it's a long-term. And when I talk about some of that, like the toxins inside of our meat, they do things, and there's a rebound effect that it's called. And so when you're eating toxic meat or toxic oils, not good healthy fats, that's toxic to your body, and those toxins stay inside because your body's not cleansing. Well, toxins are fat soluble, so they hide inside of your fat cells. And so even though we might be skinnier, that doesn't mean that those toxins have gone anywhere. So those toxins stay inside of your body, and so you might lose 15 pounds, and then you're like rebound back. And so what that means is that all of the weight that you lost is gained back because the toxins are inside of there. And that's usually what happens if we're doing the ketogenic diet the wrong way, is that those toxins inside of our body will lose the weight and then we'll gain it all back. I don't want that to happen to you. So I want you to be able to fuel your body without putting a bunch of toxins in it, so then you lose weight and keep it off for your entire life, and that you don't have that rebound effect. Another thing, like the refined oils. So just because it's oil doesn't mean that it's healthy for you. So things like margarine, cottonseed oil, canola oil, vegetable oils, peanut oils, which is pretty much everything is fried in or made with. Every box cracker cookie has those in there. Those are unhealthy oils. Now, are they considered low carb, high fat? Yes, they absolutely are. They would come under the umbrella of keto, but not in a healthy way. So I want you to avoid those things and add more of like grass-fed butter, grass-fed beef, coconut oils, MCT oil, brain octane oil. Like those are the like healthy fats, avocados, nuts, and seeds. Like those will help your body have good, healthy fats and not have the toxins all over it. Another part of this is that some, like, they might say this is keto friendly, and they'll use artificial sweeteners. And the reason is because we don't use actual real sugar, because real sugar has glucose and then it has carbs inside of it, and then that adds up into your there, and you don't want that because you're not using that for fuel. And they'll use artificial sweeteners and say there's 0 carbs, but inside of it is aspartame and Splenda and Sweet and Low and saccharin and all of that. And those are toxic to your brain. They cross the blood-brain barrier. They trick your body into not even thinking it's full. Like that's why people that drink Diet Coke, even though it's like Diet Coke and lower on all of the things, they actually gain more weight because it does, that it disrupts the signal inside of your body that tells your body that you're full, and you actually start to eat more. And that's what artificial sweeteners do. So what can you really have on keto? Stevia, monk fruit, and then the sugar alcohols, erythritol, xylitol, maltitol, allulose. You can have those types of sweeteners. Now, the only thing is you do have to be careful with the sugar alcohols. They can disrupt your digestive system. I introduced my friend to Lily's chocolate, and it's stevia sweetened, but their dark chocolate also has erythritol in it. And she's like, you want some? And I was like, I can't. Like, I can only have like 2, because if I eat the whole thing, I have digestive disturbances for days. Like, you don't want to be around me when that happens. So really staying away from that. It might cause weight loss and it might be all of that, but that is not going to create health inside of your body. Now, as you start to change some of these things in your body, one of the things the ketogenic diet is notorious for is the keto flu. So as your body, the reason this happens is because as your body transitions from glucose into ketones, well, glucose doesn't go to ketones, but for fuel-wise, it's not using glucose anymore, and it's transitioning from your liver, creating these ketones. Your body may start to experience flu-like symptoms. Not corona, so don't freak out. So I want you to understand this. So you're not sick. You don't need to go get all that stuff done. But what you might experience are things like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, headaches, and or weakness. And so it very much resembles the flu, but it's just your body transitioning. Now, the reason that this usually happens is oftentimes due to an electrolyte imbalance inside of your body. So there's a couple things that you can do. So in order to combat this or prevent it from happening is, first and foremost, making sure that you're staying hydrated. So a lot of water to help flush out any of the toxins, to help get your body hydrated, and even extra from your body transitioning to this. The other part, you have to make sure that you sleep. So don't start this when you're not getting a lot of sleep. Like, we're going to camp this week, and I'm not going to start the ketogenic diet at camp because I don't go to bed until like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then we're back up at like 7 or 8. So that's not a good time to do it at all. Or like a busy time in your life, you want to be able to make sure you're getting sufficient sleep, especially at the very beginning. And then the other part is making sure that you're getting enough electrolytes. And I don't mean Gatorade or Powerade. What I mean with electrolytes is, I'm going to talk about what max electrolytes is here in a second. But you can put like salt in your water, and that will help replenish your electrolytes, or you can squirt some of the max electrolytes in there. We even do that every day. It helps to replenish any of the imbalances that might be in your body as you transition through. For some of you, this will help you a lot. I've gotten a lot of text messages as people start to get on keto and they're like, I think I have the keto flu, because you look it up and you see all the symptoms and you just put a little bit of salt or max electrolytes and it's a game changer in the transition for you, okay? Now, this is where I want to talk about intermittent fasting. And the reason you most likely have heard this term, I have an entire webinar that I did last month on all of intermittent fasting. So if you want to know even more about it, please go back and watch that webinar. But intermittent fasting is a great way to kickstart ketosis. And the reason is because you're allowing your body to not have any food at all, and your body's going to now start taking the fat that's on your body and putting it through your liver and creating more ketones by not just having food in it at all times. Because if you don't quite know what intermittent fasting is, you're cycling between a period of eating and then a period of fasting. And so you do this whether you do it for 5 days a week, the entire week, or you pick certain days in the week to do this. It helps to just allow your body to rest and digest and heal and repair. But one of the most popular ones is that you would do what's called a 16-8 method, which means that you're fasting for 16 hours in a day, and that does include sleeping. And then you eat in a window of 8 hours. And that would be like you would skip breakfast, you would eat lunch and dinner, and then you wouldn't eat any food past like 7, 8, or 9, just depending on the window that you stop. And then you would fast and you wouldn't eat anything for 16 hours, and then you would start eating from that moment. But it's a real good kickstart. So if you have struggled in the past with making yourself and getting into ketosis, you might try some intermittent fasting to help your body get there quicker and faster. It also, intermittent fasting, not only that, it like helps with insulin sensitivity. It helps to create healthy hormone levels. But if you have any hormone issues, adrenal issues, thyroid issues, I want you to go back and listen to that webinar before you just start going into intermittent fasting, because it can sometimes cause issues and problems if you don't cycle into it the right way. So make sure that you do that. And of course, there are great weight loss benefits by intermittent fasting. It's not starvation. So if you think it's starvation, go back and listen to that webinar as well. I know we had a few other people join us, so I want to make sure if you have any questions or comments, ask me. Even if you joined late and you wondered if I covered it, please put it in the comments and I'll answer them. Or if you want to say, hey, again, I'm giving away a $50 gift card to Whole Foods for every comment, not a like or whatever, because I can't track those. I can only look at comments, just so that I can honor you for being on the webinar and engaging with me, since I really appreciate that. Okay, let's transition into supplements. After this, I believe, is where we'll talk about mindset, and then we'll get into the questions if there are any. So one of the things, I put everything in a bundle that really has to do with the ketogenic diet, especially with the ones that we offer in our office. I'm going to go through each one of these individually. But if you do want any supplements, please text Nikki. She's still here at 615-927-4571, and she will place your order. It's not just these supplements, but these are where we're going to discount even more because they're the featured supplements for this webinar. If you buy the entire bundle tonight, it is 20% off, so you can see the discount that you get there from buy now. Now, that's not just one bar, just so that you know, it's a case of all of the Max Keto bars. So it's a case of 12 plus the Max Electrolytes and the Max Keto MCT oil. So let me talk to you about each one of these. What these supplements do is they jumpstart any weight loss because it helps your body transition. Plus, it also helps your body get into ketosis. It elevates your ketone levels. MCT oil absolutely does. And the bars, of course, are gonna, if you have any like snack cravings or all of that, it helps to satisfy that, plus get you something other than food that you can eat, okay? So let's talk about the Max Electrolytes. So Max Electrolytes, like you only drop a half of a teaspoon inside of your water. I usually do it in the morning because when you sleep at night, you actually breathe out electrolytes and minerals and all of that, so it helps replenish it. But as a transition to help your body avoid any of the keto flu, doing electrolytes helps a ton. So what's inside of here? There's magnesium, there's zinc, there's potassium, there's chloride, there's sodium. And what that does is all those minerals and electrolytes help to boost your hydration and keep your electrolytes balanced. So we do love that. I do that even when I'm not doing keto. I just see that my body has more energy and it feels replenished. Like, we're not drinking Gatorade and Powerade. Or if you have kids and you're like, all they do is drink Gatorades and Powerades, and like they play sports and it's hot outside, and how do you put electrolytes back in their body? Well, this doesn't taste like anything, which is great. You can put salt in there, pink Himalayan salt or Celtic salt in there, but if you're a child, that's not going to go over very well. So you don't put it in, like, you just put pinches of salt inside of there if you want to use that instead, or in addition to, or at a different time. You absolutely can as well. Now let's talk about MCT oil. We use brain octane. You may have heard that before. Some of you have probably bought the brain octane, or you know what that is. It's a version of MCT oil, but MCT oil itself boosts ketone production. And the reason is because it's derived from a coconut oil, but inside of it, the C8, so you have carbon chains and it's smaller. So MCT stands for medium chain triglycerides. So you have short chain triglycerides and you have long chain triglycerides. MCT is in the middle of the road, but when you take MCT inside of your mouth and into your system, your body immediately sucks it up for good healthy fats. Your liver takes it and just makes it straight into ketones. And so then it boosts your ketone production, which also helps your brain. It helps support your body with weight, and all of that gives you energy almost immediately. And what I love about MCT oil is the different ways that you can use it. This is unflavored, so it doesn't taste like anything, so you can put it in a lot of things. The main thing that we put it in is coffee. So some of you know about bulletproof coffee that we make and drink almost every single morning. We've been taking the butter out of it just to get rid of some animal products for a minute, but it's coffee, hot coffee. We mix a tablespoon of Kerrygold butter. We put a tablespoon of MCT oil, some cinnamon, stevia. We also put collagen protein inside of it, blend it up in a blender and drink it, and it is the best thing ever. So that's usually what we do for breakfast, or if we're intermittent fasting, we'll do that at the beginning, or we'll do some fat fasting and we won't eat dinner. However that looks, it helps to keep you full a lot longer. You can use it with tea, anything. Other things that you can put it in are smoothies. You can put it in salad dressings. We've also put it in guacamole and mixed it together inside of there for an MCT guacamole. But it's really nice that you don't have to like hinder the taste and like try and suck it down, and you can't taste it at all, and it mixes pretty well with almost everything. So that's why we love those two products. And then the last one are the keto bars. And so any one of these that you buy individually, it's 15% off. So we give you, of course, a bigger discount if you're going to do a bundle. But a case of Max Keto Bars, should have put an S on the end. Max Keto Bars, they're chocolate coconut flavored. I like these better than the essential bars. Some people like the essential bars better than the keto bars. But they are low carb, high fat. They have 2 net carbs because of the formula that is taken out of it. But there's coconut in there, there's almond butter, there's cocoa butter, sunflower butter. There's also, that comes from the healthy fats, but there's also pumpkin seeds in there and hemp protein. So there's also 10 grams of protein inside of there per bar. And so all of that helps give you energy. So it's kind of like an energy bar. It's not really a meal replacement bar, but if you need a snack, it's very keto friendly. It's a great source of protein. Easy on the go. You get 15 grams of healthy fats inside of it. So it's a really good bar. That's why we carry it. You can get a box of 12, which comes out to like discounted. It's $3.40 a bar. So it's not a whole lot different than a lot of the bars that you can buy out in the world. So again, if you want any of those products, if you're local, please text Nikki at 615-927-4571 and she'll make sure we have 2 max electrolytes in the office. We have 3 MCT oils. I do have to order your bars of keto, max keto bars. And Melissa, I know you're watching too. I hope that they don't take forever. If they do, we will absolutely discount you down and just give them to you if they take forever. But they are heat sensitive, like they'll melt. So they come in a box that has all of the frozen things on them so that they stay good, and they're better if they're in the refrigerator or at room temperature, so they can't really get hot because they melt all over the place. But if you want any other supplements, they'll be 10% off tonight. So featured ones are 15%. If you buy the entire bundle, it's 20%. But if there's anything else that you need, like vitamin D, vitamin C, Nikki can give you a discount for being on this at 10%. If you're not from here, I will post links to our store that you can go to and you can buy these products. I can't give you a discount, but you can see what they are. Mindset. I'm going to do a big pause right here. Going keto or just with any nutrition, mindset is a big deal. It's not the fact that you most likely don't know what to eat and what not to eat. It's really what's happening on inside of here. It's the decisions that you make. Like if you have a donut in front of you or a salad in front of you, which one are you going to eat? And it depends on where your mindset is at. And I think though that the biggest thing with mindset, it starts with actually having a goal of what you want to see happen and then asking yourself why you want to do this. Like, not because I just gained 15 pounds in quarantine, like that's not a good enough why. It has to be bigger of why you want to do that, because that motivation is only going to last for so long. And so I don't want to discount working on your mindset as you go through this, that each and every time that you put something in your mouth, like that food is a choice. Like you have choices and you can say no. And it's not about willpower and motivation. Like it only lasts this long. Like after this, you get excited and you're like, yes, I'm going to do it. And then whoop, it all just goes into the trash. And I'm very much guilty of this too. So don't think that you're exempt or that I'm any better at this than you, but I have worked and trained my mind to be able to say no and mean no, but sometimes I still get tricked into it. Like we just went to Texas and I had a hot dog and there was something like relish is not even the color of relish anymore. It's like mutant green and I still ate it even though I was like, I really should not be freaking eating this. Like it's mutant green. Like what is this going to do inside of my body? But then I just made the decision. There was no shame or guilt whatsoever on it. I took some extra digestive enzymes and then I moved along. And then now that we're back, like we've ate healthy, we're just back on track again. But you have to just know yourself and who you are. I think one of the best things that helps with the mindset is accountability. So doing this with somebody, talking to people about it, get on forums. Like there's the amount of like support for you for keto is insane. You can go on Facebook and you can find keto groups and you can be on there. You can have accountability. You can see what people are going through. They're experiencing keto flu, but to have somebody there that you can bounce things off, like we're absolutely here. So just ask questions. We will be here to help you. And then the other part is you got to celebrate your wins. I think sometimes we get so focused on when we flub up that we forget to celebrate the fact that, like, I have a friend and I'm like, she's like, I'm not losing weight. And she did a couple tests. Like she goes to Orange Theory and she got herself measured in weight in January. And then she just did another one. And in that time, she's lost like 20 pounds. But then she's so frustrated that she's not losing weight right now. I'm like, can we please celebrate the fact that you just lost 20 pounds? And like, that's incredible, like over that time, but she's frustrated that she can't lose 1 pound in that moment. And she's forgetting to celebrate and win. But so often we celebrate and wins with food. And so being able to figure out mindset wise, what can I do to celebrate? Like go get a massage or go for a walk or like buy a new pair of shoes or a new pair of shorts or something like that. Like, something different, get a book, go whatever it might be. Like it doesn't even have to cost anything, but to celebrate and win when you choose something over the other, or even a pound of weight loss is still an amazing win. And don't forget to celebrate it. Amen? Okay. I'm going to post a link to this right before we get to the Q&A. I'm going to post all these links and then go through it. I created a keto perspective for you, so that way you have resources. You can have it at home with you. You can go through some of the things again and again and again. It's basically like a notes form, some of the supplements that are on there and how you can go through each one easy. So I'll make sure to give you that perspective for free today. Some action steps. Number one, create a goal. What do you want to do keto for? Do you want to do it for 30 days? What's your goal? You want to lose weight, fit into something, but I want you to also answer why you want to do that. And it's got to be big. Like why Dr. Michael and I do what we do is not just for the money. It's not for our office. It's not for any fame or glory. Like we don't have kids yet. And Lord knows we're praying a lot for that. But we also know that those kids will have kids. And we've watched and seen our family not be healthy and be able to do the things that they want to do, like in their bodies. Our bodies just don't work to be able to play with kids or like walk on the beach with us. And we're not okay with that. And that's the big reason I'm on this webinar tonight, like with you, is because I want that same thing for you. And so then that way we can all rise up and we can actually live to our God-given potential. And so it has to create that fire inside of you. You can even just see it. Like it creates a fire inside of me to make the right choices when it comes to fueling my body, getting adjusted, doing my exercises, exercising just in general, detoxing my body, cleansing it, doing all of that, because there's a greater and bigger purpose of why I want to do that than just my body to look a certain way. And then number two, download that keto resource. You don't have to put your email in, nothing. There's no strings attached. You get it for free. Just download it. You can print it off or keep it as a PDF on your computer or your phone. Download those apps. So one of those apps, pick one, pick both, see which one that you like, Carb Manager and Senza. Then start assessing where you're at. One of the things that Senza does, it's so close in my mind than Carb Manager, and it might do it too, is that they want you to just assess where you're at. So that's an assess where you're at. So you just start plugging in what you normally eat in the day to see where you're at on your numbers and ratios. So see where you're at, track where you're at. How much protein are you getting on a regular basis? How much fat are you getting? How many carbs are you eating? And it might just help like open up some of your eyeballs. Modify and then change your diet. Then start to change things. Look for different stuff that's going to help your body go into ketosis even better. Okay. I'm going to post these things real quick. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. I think I can do it with what I'm. Recent. Nope. Yes. Direct links. Let me just post these really quick. Hang with me. April's on vacation, so we're one man down. So I'm going to post the direct links to Max Electrolytes from our website. Did that work? I hope so. An error occurred. Maybe I'll just do it afterwards. Hold on, let me just at least put in the keto perspective for you guys. That's the one that matters the most. Well, somebody let me know if you can click that. Okay. All right, I'm going to go back through. I'm going to see if there's any questions. Melissa likes which one do you like, Melissa? The Carb Manager. Okay, yeah. Melissa likes the Carb Manager. She says spring for the premium account for more features, which is really, really good. I love that. Those ones are worth it. So MyFitnessPal is one of them, and the premium is way better than the free, but you can still get away with the free. But I believe that a lot of them are worth it because you get more choices and it doesn't feel as frustrating. So if you can upgrade to that, I think that that is really, really good. Carb Manager, she says you can scan UPC labels and take pictures of the food, and some of it's auto-generated. You can save your own food, recipes, meal lists, super good. Max Collagen, so like collagen peptides, the Max Collagen we have in our office, or the Vital Proteins, it's carb-free, low-calorie, and you can put that inside of there, and it's great for your skin and joints, so love that. Hi, Ellen and Candy, if you're still watching. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Patricia. But meat and cheese taste so good, and bacon is so good. I know, guys, I really do. Sammy, looking back through my paleo notes, it seems it's almost the same as keto. Is there much of a difference? Can they work together? They can absolutely work together. The only thing with paleo is that there's no counting, zero counting whatsoever. And paleo, if I think I remember talking about it, they freaking put bacon on everything. Like, it's like bacon covered meat is all that paleo is. And they have a very big focus on meat. There's no cheese involved at all in paleo. So there are some differences when it comes to that. I think that if you did keto, you could transition into more of a paleo type of a diet. If you are at all cheese sensitive, you can do like vegetarian keto, you can do vegan keto, but it is really hard to do that. But you can absolutely. You just try to get your high fats from plant sources instead of animal sources. So sometimes that's hard, but there are a few differences from that. Myrna Flint, what were the two websites you talked about? Were they the two apps maybe? Did I talk about? I don't think I talked about two websites. Two apps. So I talked about two apps. One of them is called Carb Manager. Let me just go back to that slide for you, Myrna, if you're still watching. Cinza app or the Carb Manager app. So those are the two that I recommend to start with that will help you through. If I could recommend a book, I prefer books, is the Keto Metabolic Breakthrough from Dr. David Jockers. I love his book because especially if you want to nerd out on this, he goes through so many things. Plus there's a ton of recipes in the back, like tons of keto recipes inside of here. He's a great source for the ketogenic diet. He does have a website too called drjockers.com, and he has a ton of information on the ketogenic diet. Does everyone get the keto flu? Nope. Nope. How long does it last? It can be anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. Sometimes people have like 4 weeks. It just depends on how imbalanced your electrolytes and the ratios are. So that's why I recommend doing max electrolytes or pink Himalayan salt or gray like Celtic sea salt. And you just put like a half of a teaspoon or a pinch of it in your water in the morning and stir it and then drink it. Okay. And Melissa says actually electrolytes are key. We add salt to all of our food and even our coffee. Use that. All of those extra minerals, we don't realize how many minerals that we lose, especially as your body's transitioning into ketones. How much salt would you add per 8 ounces? So a half a teaspoon is a good place to start. If it's too salty, then back off and do 1/4 of a teaspoon. But just pick it up and put it in there and just give it a go. Is keto diet the best way to reduce weight? It's one of the ways. For most people, it's a great way to lose weight. I think that you can lose weight though, however, on paleo, Whole30, it just really which one works the best for you. We've done and tried everything. If you've listened to Dr. Michael and I talk for, like we've done everything. Dr. Michael's done carnivore and he's lost weight. Like we've done vegan, vegetarian, raw, all of it. And there is a weight loss benefit to most of them. So it's just really whatever works for you. If keto doesn't work for you, then that doesn't mean it doesn't work and that you have to be fat for forever. Like you need to try to find the one that works the best for you. MCT helps get all that healthy fat. Yes, it does. Okay, do you cook with it or do you just consume inside of another product? MCT, do not heat this. Like, yeah, we don't cook with this one. It's so backwards on here. MCT oil, you eat it raw. So that's why it's like dressing, smoothies, coffee. It's not a good one to heat because it doesn't stay stable. When we heat and cook, we usually use coconut oil or avocado oil. They have smoke points up to 450 degrees. We try to keep all extra virgin olive oil, MCT oil, all raw, as in salad dressings and like smoothies like I talked about before. So don't cook with MCT oil. Oh, thanks for answering that, Candy, about weight loss. Good, good, good. Thanks for being such a help, Melissa. I love it. Perfect. Okay, love that. Melissa reminded me that this MCT oil, you need to start with a smaller amount because it can go right through your system and create some digestive disturbances. So really start with like half a tablespoon if you have a sensitive digestive system, and then you can work your way up. We don't really use any more than 1 tablespoon to begin with. Like you really don't want to at a time. Like you can do 1 tablespoon in the morning and 1 tablespoon in the afternoon. Like there's no problem with that, but keep it smaller to begin with, okay? Which number do we call to order now so we can get a discount? 615-927-4571. The office. So not some weird number, so just call the office, Sandy. Good, good, good. I think I did it all. Is there anything else? Oh, I love Pam, Myrna. I don't know if that's how you say your name, but I love Pam. She's so great. She's your daughter-in-law. Yep. She's so, and Ryland and Preston and Kim, love them all. Alan Miller, hi. You lost 20 pounds. So good. Just changing your food. It's totally possible and you can absolutely do it. Thank you, Bia, for letting me know that the link works. Really good. Wow, I'm getting more things. So what do you suggest for testing ketosis? So there's a few different ways. We prefer to do a blood one, but it's the most expensive out of all of them. Dr. Michael loves doing this stuff. He loves to research his own body. So we have an actual like ketosis blood tester. Inside of his book, he talks about the breathalyzer test and then urine strip tests. So you can actually test your ketones through your breath, you can test it through your urine, and you can test it through your blood. Blood is what we suggest. You're gonna get the most accurate reading, but it is the most costly of them. Urine strips rarely detect it because it's just different, and breath it can, but it's just not as accurate. Either one of those though is fine to start off with. If you've done it for a while, I would suggest investing into a blood one. Good. I think that's everything, guys. And I only went like 4 minutes over. This is incredible. Things are changing. I love it. If you have any other questions, please throw comment and I will absolutely answer them, or reach out to us. Our email is info@majorfamilychiropractic.com. Oh, there's other events coming up. Let me finish that part. So if you want to know what's happening next, you can. Fast forward. There we go. Oh, free giveaway. Don't forget, I'm going to go through all of those and give away $50 Whole Foods. So stay tuned. Whole Foods gift card. So upcoming Friends and Family Day. You guys know how much we love this, and we do it every month. June was Scoliosis Awareness Month. We had amazing people get checked. We're so happy and excited for families to see like their kids' spines and what their spines look like and get some help. So Friends and Family Day this month in July is on July 15th. So it is like 8 days away. So it's not this tomorrow, but the next Wednesday afterwards. So you know that if you come in or for any of your friends or family, if you're watching and you've never had your spine checked, you can come in on this day. You just have to call the office or text the office at that 615-927-4571 number, or email our office. We can see what appointments that we have available. We only have, I think, 8 left and available for that day, but it's discounted. Instead of $100, it's just $40 for all of the consultation, exam, and then any x-rays that we need to take. But that cost is 100% donated to the Wild Indigo program. So that program, if you don't know, Nikki and I volunteer when we could actually go. We haven't been able to since Corona, but it's a whole entire program that works with the mind, body, and spirit of the women that are incarcerated here in Nashville, specifically at the prison on Harding. So that 100% of it is donated. So we basically work for free that day. And then the next workshop that we have, leaky gut, was a really popular one at the end of last year. So we are going to do another gut workshop. It's called Health from Within, understanding your gut and what's happening on the inside. And sometimes it's like you start these things in these diets and you realize your gut is just a mess from the food that you ate, medications that you've taken, whatever it might be. So we want to help you start to heal up your gut and understand it even more. So that's going to be on Monday, July 20th at 6. Dr. Michael's joining me for that one on Facebook and YouTube. We're still doing webinars because it's all up in the air, and we're just going to do that for now until we can get back into our office and do them in real life. But what we're going to do is do both. So you can either come real life or webinars once we can get to that point. This one, though, is a webinar, July 20th at 6 o'clock. And then you can connect with us on Instagram, or our podcast is back. We just did one on bug spray and one on, I always forget it. I just listened to our bug spray one. The one that we just posted, it's different. So you can always learn more on that, healthy fats, all of that through our podcast. They're about 20 minutes long. You can follow us on there too. Okay. Let me see. I think we got just a few more dillies. When do you need to order vitamins? Now or tomorrow? Now, Alan, if you text the office or call Nikki at the office, 615-927-4571, she will get you all set up. 10% off all other ones. All the keto all the keto products are 15% off individually, or if you buy all 3 of them, they're 20% off. Any good multivitamin supplements while on keto? A whole food multivitamin is what you need, and it needs to be methylated B. So it needs to say methylcobalamin or methylated B. We have a good women's multi, we have a good kids and a men's multi. Those are the ones that we take. So as long as it's a whole food base, if you don't want to take the ones that we have, whole food base and methylated B. That's the only way that your body absorbs it. And a lot of times people will put B vitamins and they don't even absorb into your body. It makes it cheaper for them to make a multivitamin. So you got to watch out for those, specifically in multivitamin. Oh, my cousin's on. Hi, Rach. I hope to see you soon. Come to Nashville. It's a great place. All right. I love you all. If you have any other questions, please reach out. Watch this again and again if you want to. Share it with people if you want to. Let them know. We really, really appreciate it, and we love you all. Have a great night. Bye-bye.